comes the nine.
Today I wanted to take it in a different direction. Living in Chicago now, off and on, I am privy to a city that is pretty popular in the news, pretty popular in movies and TV shows and all that. But I think a lot of Chicago gets lost on the interpretation. And today I invited a local salesman to come down and sit with me and explain the city in his eyes, from his point of view. And I think it's, once again, I don't really know what the hell I'm doing here. Y'all don't really know what the hell I'm doing here. We're just growing as a team and figuring shit out. But that's why the conversation started, is because I wanted to take things on a different path and just kind of have a one-on-one with people. I thought that it would be pretty goddamn cool to have somebody come tell the other side of the story, the other side of Wrigley. So that's why Mr. C was talked into doing this by me. Super Bowl is coming up, though. I wanted to drop a couple of nuggets of knowledge as far as some of the props go that I'll be looking at. First things first, I'm betting heads on the coin flip. I've done it for the last 3 years in a row, and it's won every time. I'm not going to let go now. There's a whole lot of action as far as what's Bruno Mars going to do for a song? What's he going to wear on his head? This, that, and the other. I have no goddamn idea. But as far as him not wearing a hat being plus 200, you might as well call me a sucker, because that shit looks good to me. Doesn't he have fancy hair, too? Wouldn't the guy want to show off? I thought he had like a fancy haircut. I might be crazy there. But another great prop that I like a lot, will Richard Sherman receive an unnecessary roughness penalty in the game? Yes is plus 500. He's going to be a dangerous person if the fourth quarter comes down to it and Denver's winning by 21. Richard Sherman might freak the hell out and pull a Michael Irvin in the barbershop line, if you know what I mean. Who knows, though? Will Michael Crabtree mentioned Richard Sherman in a tweet during the Super Bowl, from kickoff until final whistle? Yes is plus 150, minus 200. Now, the parameters are, it must say Sherman in any capacity. So that pretty much takes out subtweets. I like the no at minus 200. I really do. Gatorade. What color will the Gatorade be that is dumped on the head coach of the winning Super Bowl team? Yellow is 3-1. Blue is 7-1. Red is 5-1. Those are the ones I'm looking for. I like that. Anyway, let's get back to the conversation with Shea and Irving. We'll jump right into what me and Mr. C are talking about. I hope you all enjoy it. It's a little bit off the beaten path, but it'll maybe provide you with a new perspective you didn't have before. Thanks, y'all.
Throwback Thursday.
Welcome to the conversation with Shea and Irving. This is episode 2. I'm your host, Shea, currently in Chicago because God still hates me. Today we're joined by someone who is probably the exact opposite of last week's guest. Big thanks to Todd Furman for coming over last week and doing that with us. That was pretty sweet. Make sure you go back and listen to the old episodes. Today we've got somebody that we're going to call Mr. C. How about that? Names have been changed, but Mr. C, you could say, is a salesman by trade. It's a liberal use of the definition of sales. But he spends most of his time obsessing about sports and playing softball in a Puerto Rican Softball League at the famous Humboldt Park, a park steeped in a rich tradition of Puerto Rican pride and, regrettably, Puerto Rican violence. He's also one of the reasons that I finally found cockfighting here in Chicago. He's also a complete and total degenerate. And he's here today to fill us in a little bit on what Chicago is actually like, outside of Wrigleyville, outside of the Loop, outside of the tourist attractions. We're going to take a drive-by, so to speak, into why Chicago is one of the most dangerous cities in the country and what it's like being a fan here. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. C. Hello, Mr. C. How the hell are you?
I am doing great now that I got out of work. It's lovely. It's freezing balls out here today. About -20. I don't know if you guys are used to that out there.
They're not.
Okay, probably not.
First off, thanks for the cockfighting introduction. I appreciate that.
No problem. I know you like those Puerto Rican old men.
They've helped me out in more ways than one. Let's start by asking you, I want you to explain or paint the picture for a kid living in Southeast Ohio listening to this podcast right now. They know Chicago as the city of Michael Jordan. They probably know it as the city of Kanye West or some shit like that. They don't understand what it's like outside of the loop besides some of the TV reports about the murder rate being so damn high. What I want you to do real quick is just kind of paint a picture of the west side, of Humboldt Park, and more specifically, the gang subculture that this city has to go through. Wow. Explain to the common man what Chicago gangs are like today.
Wow, did you really want to go there, huh?
I want to go there. Educate the people.
Well, where should we start first? Folks and people, huh?
Let's go there.
That's how it all breaks down to, basically.
That's the confusing part. Let's say a white guy's moving to Chicago tomorrow.
Okay.
And he doesn't know what color to wear in his certain neighborhood.
Oh, that's kind of how it was back then.
Right.
But it's weird. It's like a rich tradition, bro. It's always been a part of Chicago. So gangs, yes.
Always.
You have your old schoolers,
right,
who you can say are legendary.
Okay.
Comparing them to sports, I shall say.
Sure.
You know, guys that go to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Or retire in Statesville Penitentiary. You know, those are the guys that, the younger kids look up to.
Sure.
Back in the day, it was way more organized than it is now because now there is no guidance. Back in the day, it was probably to the book, like you're saying, folks and people.
Right.
Now it's all about money.
Explain to the white people what folks and people are, specifically.
Okay, well...
if somebody flies under folk, what sign are they using? What's the graffiti tag?
There's a whole mess. I can't get into the whole that. There's a whole bunch of folks, and there is a whole bunch of people. But to break it down to...
And they don't like each other.
No, they don't.
Okay.
There's two different sides. Back in the day when it was more organized, I would say the people used to stick with the people, and the folks used to stick with the folks. Mm-hmm. All right? If you are people... Everything pertains to you to the left. Right. You will bang your hat to the left side.
Right.
And wear colors that represent people, obviously.
Sure.
And if you're folks, you're the total opposite. Everything is to the right side, right? Everything's represented to the right side, and you have your folk gangs.
Right.
And like I said, back then in the good old days, these guys stuck together. It's not like that anymore.
You had a hierarchy. You had chiefs. You had
You had your chief, and you had your captain. You had your soldiers. You had this guy and this guy, whatever.
You had your neighborhood.
Everything was organized now. Mm-hmm. Now it's not like that anymore. Everyone's out it for themselves.
Sure.
And that's why there's so much violence. You
right.
know? Before, when there was a code that everyone lived by, you had one guy telling you what to do, one guy that everyone listened to, so there was more organization. Less people getting killed. Mm-hmm. Less people going to jail.
Probably more money being made as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now that I can say that those times passed.
Sure.
But it's still rough. Chicago's always been rough. Any neighborhood you go to, if it's a blue collar neighborhood, you have to be from there to know what's up. If not,
go back to Wrigleyville.
Exactly. And I'm not a Cubs fan, for the record. Mr. C is not a Cubs fan.
No, Mr. C is a diehard White Sox fan, which I'm sure is not surprising to anyone. He's also diehard Blackhawks.
Diehard Bears.
Bears and the Bulls. Right.
Bulls.
Diehard. Which is interesting. This city does come together for everything but baseball.
Right.
Explain to the people, I want you to take us through what it's like going to a game at U.S. Cellular versus taking that trip, taking that red line north to Wrigleyville. When you go to U.S. let's say you're going to go check out a White Sox game on a Saturday night game.
Okay, a night game.
Against, let's call it a divisional rival. Let's say it's against the
Twins.
Let's say it's against the Twins. Okay, fine. Saturday night game at U.S. Cellular against the Twins. What happens?
Well, first and foremost, you're going to take a ride. Once you pass Chinatown, good luck. It's the South Side, baby.
Right.
South Side stays traditional to their old roots.
Right.
And they stick to the book still. So that's basically breaking down the South Side for you guys.
Okay.
But you're going to see you're going to see less people over there.
White people. Right.
Less white people, obviously.
Less gringos. Okay.
Less gringos. No gringos over there.
But the gringos that are from there.
Well, the people that appreciate baseball, no matter if they're a Cub fan or not, they will go catch a game.
Sure.
And those are the people that appreciate baseball, that are not segregated into two different groups.
Right.
Cub fans and White Sox fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I would say, it's the same line, the red line. You're going to the lake if you're going to the Cubs game, and you're going past Chinatown if you're going to the Sox. And let me tell you, Shea, if you're going to the South Side, you're going to see less of a commute than going to Wrigley Field to go watch a game.
Right.
And it's so different. So such of a different atmosphere.
As far as Saturday night games at U.S. Cellular, what happens? White Sox win.
Fireworks, baby.
Okay, fireworks. You get that. You get a little technology. But when you leave the stadium, everybody gets in their car and drives away. Or gets on the red line and goes north.
They kind of migrate a little bit for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, if we lost, we're sore losers. We're out there talking shit.
But how many bars? I mean, it's not like...
Oh, there's bars everywhere in Chicago.
Of course, but it's not like the same...
It's not the same atmosphere as Wrigleyville.
Exactly.
Wrigleyville, win or lose, these guys are partying and screaming, and it's a celebration. Like, I never seen so many losers celebrate. They're the most loved losers in the city of Chicago.
They are. This is true.
That's why our Sox fans kind of get a little pissed off.
Sure.
That, but I mean, whatever.
I mean, when was the last time the White Sox won a championship? Was 2005?
Yeah, it's been about.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but it hasn't been 100 years. But this city still celebrates the Chicago Cubs better than anybody.
Well, that's true. Cub fans are like a new pair of Jordans. Everyone got them.
Oh, all right.
That's how Cub fans are.
Okay, now when you go to a game at Wrigley, what do you see there versus in contrast to what happens on the south side of Comiskey?
It's real simple. You have your blue-collar neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's the White Sox fans.
Yeah.
And then you have your white-collar neighborhood. That is your Cubs fans.
Okay.
And everything's a lot more expensive when you go up north, when
Sure.
you're by the lake.
Sure. And
It's near downtown, so I'm assuming it's...
But the fans, the fans in Wrigley versus the fans at Old Comiskey. Personally speaking, I will say that going to Rangers games at U.S. Cellular was a much more aggressive atmosphere than when the Rangers played the Cubs. Now, both teams were horrible last year.
Right.
But the Southsiders let me know.
It's more traditional, I would say.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's more Chicago. Let's say that.
I agree.
Okay. You're more at home when you're at the Sox Stadium. When you're at Wrigley, it's like you're at a fancy event where you got to put a tie on.
Right. Or
Okay.
you got to watch your P's and Q's because some people might be offended by what goes on.
We have a mixed crowd out there.
Right.
And not taking anything from the people that, are from that neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's just they're in that neighborhood.
It's a different way of living.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Well, let's move on to Humboldt Park. Mr.
Home sweet home.
Yeah, Mr. C introduced me to Humboldt Park, and what I found was a park unlike anything I've ever seen before. Not only is it huge and massive, but it's got this dark cloud over it because of the history of violence associated not only with that park, but the neighborhood surrounding it. It's a beautiful piece of property when the city actually takes care of it. And the locals there do their part above and beyond what should be done by any local as far as taking care of that park and paying fees to keep that park running. There's a softball league in Humboldt Park that is essentially, I'm going to say 99% Puerto Rican. And when you go to these games, there are bands playing. There's walk-up music. These guys aren't showing up with the fucking cut-off T-shirt and gym shorts. They're showing up in full-on Major League Baseball uniforms, specifically to their team. They have home and away jerseys. I'm talking about announcers with fucking PA systems, the whole bit. And DJs.
People selling food.
Oh, there's food. People selling a lot of different things.
Oh, yes.
People selling essentially anything you need in the park. But take me through what it's like being a Puerto Rican, growing up on the West Side, with that park being in your life. Because your father, I'm guessing, played softball, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about the tradition of Humboldt Park and Puerto Rican softball.
Okay. Well, it all goes down, like you said, it's a Puerto Rican park, as you can say. You can
pretty close
to saying that.
Yeah.
You got Roberto Clemente High School, right up the street, on Division, and that is the richest, I would say, baseball tradition in the city. Of all high schools in the city, that is one of the main high schools where most of our fathers went, because it's in Humboldt Park,
right?
You know,
which is rare in a major city to have an inner city high school produce
baseball players that go to the majors.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's not so foreseen. I would say that the reason why the school is so popular for baseball is because of the neighborhood it's in.
The Puerto Ricans, yeah.
Right, and because of everyone who migrated here back in the 70s, or particularly all the Puerto Rican people were there.
Baseball's in their blood.
Baseball's in their blood, coming from the island regardless.
Right.
So that school, Clemente, I would say, is one of the main reasons why Humboldt Park is so rich into a baseball tradition.
Because the kids that don't make it.
Well, there's kids that make it, but I'm just saying it goes back beyond to our fathers' times. Back in the 70s, back in the 60s, when they played high school baseball.
Right.
And, the tradition just goes on, and then, they're so prided into it, they never left.
Right.
So now their kids are going to the same high school.
Sure.
And they're just keeping on the tradition. And it's just a traditional thing. If you don't make it to the majors, if you're not going to a big-time college, guess what? You're playing ball in Humboldt Park.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And you're representing your last name. You're probably representing your father's old jersey number. And the tradition goes on. It's lovely, man. I've done it. My father played for some 35 years, I would say.
Wow.
Old man almost made it to the majors back in the day, but he didn't. And, that's where they stood. There's a lot of money involved sometimes behind the...
Right. This is another thing. I mean, we've all been to softball games. I know I have in the past with, semi-serious fast pitch or whatever. But nothing like going to a game in Humboldt Park and realizing the starting pitcher is getting fucking paid for his performance. And we're talking fast pitch, underhand.
And we're talking $1,000 a game.
We're talking $1,000 a game here.
And that's minimum. All right, and you got coaches paying these guys.
How many games are in a season?
Well, let's figure it out. There's doubleheaders every Sunday.
Okay.
That's the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So get ready to come to the park at noon and leave at 6 p.m. That's if you're not drinking with the old man afterwards either.
First game I went to, full disclosure, in Humboldt Park, I showed up at 11 and had to leave at 2 because...
True story.
Because of the fucking drinks and other things that these bastards were feeding the white guy. It was almost like, how do we make this white guy fall over? I lasted 3 or 4 hours, and I was like, I called the roommate, and I said, you got to pick me up. I don't know where I am or what I'm doing, but I'm at a park. That was on a Sunday. That was tough.
It was on a Sunday, and mind you, everyone we were hanging out with was 50 plus.
Yeah. Those
we're not talking young bucks anymore.
No.
Not at all.
But I guess take me through the progression of showing up at the park as a kid.
Oh, it was awesome, man. I would wake up, basically, it was a Sunday tradition. I'm up at like 9, 10 in the morning, already shaking my dad up. Like, what's up, Pops? We're going to the game or what? He'll get dressed, put on the baseball socks, leave some shorts on, put on his jersey, and we're gone.
Right.
Get to the park, and everyone knows everyone,
Right.
Every dad is with their son.
Right.
So the kids are all, we're all getting ready to see each other. We're all excited. But like I said,
and then 30 years later,
it's basically all the sons who are still keeping this tradition alive.
And this has been going on.
And this has been going on for 50 years.
Which
since the 70s, no lie.
The history in Humboldt Park with the Puerto Rican people is, if y'all want to Google division street in Chicago, you'll see a massive steel flag that covers a boulevard of a Puerto Rican flag. There's two, and
they cover a quarter mile long.
They're a quarter-mile track, and on the two ends, there's a Puerto Rican flag, and it encompasses essentially all the pride and people in that neighborhood. It's impressive to see, to say the least. But the amount of money and talent tied up in the Puerto Rican Softball League is bizarre. You've got guys drafted from the major leagues
who play games
who
now
right.
during their off season just to stay in shape, but not. You tell me, Shea. Would you play organized softball knowing that you're going to be drafted into the major leagues?
I would not, but I ain't Puerto Rican.
Right.
It's in their blood.
Exactly.
There's
it's
nothing.
a tradition,
right?
That's followed through. It's a pride tradition. Like my father was a great hitter at Humboldt Park. Mm-hmm. Always probably averaged about a 340 average his whole career. Mm-hmm. Played the outfield.
Now we're talking fast pitch.
We're talking underhand.
Now how far away?
Pitch.
How far away is the mound from the home plate?
It depends on what
ASA or whatever,
ASA
yeah.
or if it's soft, if it's semi-fast. Mm-hmm. But it's normally about 47.
Okay.
47 feet away.
And these dudes are throwing heat.
Oh yeah, underhand
heat.
And you know how the kids do it now? What is
Yeah.
it, the World Series baseball class?
Yeah.
When they show the the pitchometer, whatever you call that.
Yeah.
You could say it's about 80 miles per hour.
Coming at your life. Right.
80 plus.
Right.
And it's competitive. It's competitive.
Very competitive.
There's bunning. There's stealing.
Right.
Every plate appearance, you got to look at your third base coach, make sure what the signal is.
And they have third base coaches and
first base coaches.
Legit coaches, not guys. Oh, I'm ninth in the lineup. It's time for me to go play first base. No, they have first base coach, third base coach. They have a manager. This is serious business. The refs get paid very well.
Oh yes, they do.
The situation is
real. You got an
real.
outfield judge and you got a judge behind the plate.
Right. It's very. For me, it was very enlightening to see, and it was definitely a different side of Chicago. I chose to live in a neighborhood that is not inside the loop, so to speak. It is not Wrigleyville, and the reason was because I think I would stick out like a sore goddamn thumb. But I was not prepared for Humboldt Park Puerto Rican softball.
Definitely not. And you, as a baseball fan, I know when you got there,
I was shocked.
Your mouth was just dropped.
I was shocked.
You couldn't believe what you were seeing.
No, I couldn't.
First off, the announcer had you going.
The announcer that announces in Spanglish
yes.
had me falling out of my chair because it reminded me so much of growing up in Texas and the Tejano Spanglish that everybody likes to speak down there. But the fact that there was a goddamn announcer, that the place was sponsored by several businesses, every team has a couple different sponsors, and maybe some under-the-counter sponsors, because these uniforms ain't cheap, people. No. I'm talking, these sons of bitches have Air Jordans on their feet, personalized with their number on them. Cleats. These are spikes. And the team colors. I don't care if your team color's blue and purple. They'll personally make them for you. Get the number stitched on the back.
Oh yeah, it's serious, man.
It looks like a goddamn World Baseball Classic.
And what we play for, we got to break that down too.
Right.
So
what happens if you win the championship?
There's a lot of money involved. Like these teams, it's like about $5,000 to $6,000 to get a team together, get a sponsor, get a bar to hang out with.
Right.
Sorry about that.
But what do you get if you win?
Well, what you get is a round trip to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Well, that's the traditional one. We go to Puerto Rico and we play the champion of ASA fastball over there.
Okay.
So there's a week of that.
Okay.
Well, there's a weekend, you should say.
Full paid trip.
Full paid trip,
All
drinks,
expense
liquor, and I'm not going to mention everything else. Cockfighting when we get there.
Right.
A lot of clear beaches and plenty of beer.
What about cash? Is there any monetary?
No.
Okay.
It's strictly professional. We win a trip and we get a trophy for the whole team, but every player receives a ring.
A ring. Now, what does the ring look like?
And maybe next time you invite me, I'll bring one because I have 4.
Okay. We're talking diamond. Are we talking diamonds here? What are we talking? Rubies and shit.
Nah, not that fancy. Think of it like a collegiate.
Like a college ring?
Like a gold college ring.
Yeah, like a college graduate ring.
There you go.
Okay, that still ain't cheap.
It still ain't cheap, but some of these guys who do have money, these management guys
mysteriously
have
a lot of money.
Right. And,
I will say I did see the first time I went to Humboldt Park, I did see a couple Porsche trucks pull up, and a couple of softball players under the age of 35, I'd say, walking into the park with their new softball bats. It was.
Oh yeah, those $300 bats.
Yeah.
$300-$400.
And that's the thing is everybody's got a $300 or $400 bat. There's not just one that the whole team uses.
No,
everybody's got a goddamn $400 bat. It's not.
Back then, when I would say my grandfather before my dad, there was maybe like 2 or 3 leagues. Now there's at least 5 or 6 leagues in Humboldt Park.
5 different Puerto Rican leagues.
5 different Puerto Rican leagues. Yes, sir.
It's amazing.
They actually opened up the ASA league this year, and the league I play in, they opened up the pitching, and now they're stealing bases. Yes,
right.
So they're trying to open up, but for safety reasons and because these veterans we play with are so old now, we're a little courteous with them as well. You know, we want to take care of them.
Of course.
You know, but what they get thrilled of is seeing us play now. You know, they had their time, we seen them, and now basically it's our time to shine till we turn 50 like them. You know, it's just how it is. It's pretty sweet.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl coming up. Seattle versus Denver. First off, who do you like?
Come on, are you serious?
I'm asking for the people.
I'm going for the Seahawks. Okay, I'm sorry, didn't mean to sound like, what's his name again?
Ooh, Ron Burgundy?
No.
Richard Sherman.
Sherman, that's
Your
my
hero.
man. That's my hero. Okay, I was kind of upset that everyone wanted to rant and talk crap about my boy. Come on, man.
Right. How do you feel?
How would you feel if this was your first time going to the Super Bowl and you made the baddest play in your career to end the game to take you there? Do you blame this guy? No. I mean, sportsmanship-wise, he went up to shake up Crabtree's hand.
Yep.
And he smacked his ass in the head. Dude, I would have went ape shit myself. I don't blame you, Sherman. I hope you win it, bro. I hope you do.
Who do you think's going to win the MVP in the Super Bowl, Mr. C?
Oh, my God.
If you're going for Seattle, let me give you a couple options for Seattle that Bovada right now has online. Seattle. Doug Baldwin, the wide receiver, going off at 40-1. Percy Harvin.
He's playing?
Yeah, I think he's starting. Who knows if he's going to last. 25-1
Poor guy, man.
for MVP. He's made out of plastic.
Yeah, he is, but he's a great player.
Russell Wilson.
That's who I think.
7-2. Okay, so your choice is Russell Wilson for MVP.
I got 3 guys, actually.
Talk to me.
I got Russell Wilson, Beast Mode, and Sherman.
Beast Mode going off at 4-1. Sherman, I think, is going off at 25-1.
Wow. Those are some crazy odds.
For MVP now. That's just MVP.
Right. Now, what I'm thinking is this. If Denver plays the defense that they played against the Patriots, it's going to be a battle. Now.
A closer game than people expect.
Definitely.
Okay.
You can't take the legend out the game at all.
Peyton Manning.
Never.
Okay.
You can't count the guy out.
Okay.
He does amazing things. Now, the only advantage I see in this game, if both defenses play, which... Okay, on paper, Seattle's defense is a little better.
Sure.
But the only advantage I see is Russell Wilson running.
His legs.
His legs.
Okay.
That's the advantage I see. Old man legend does not have that.
Well, you got to wonder, when was the last time Denver played a mobile quarterback?
Right, which is true, but
right.
You can't take nothing away from the legend.
No.
He sits in the pocket and throws. That's
right.
His job.
You would say Russell Wilson might have the legs, but Peyton Manning's got the brain.
Right.
Sure. Might cancel each other out.
You will set up your defense, and he's going to dismantle it right at the line.
Right.
Omaha.
Ready, set!
Yeah, that's him. That's what he does.
Okay, couple of prop action here with Mr. C because he is a complete degenerate. What will the temperature be at kickoff? Over or under 32 degrees Fahrenheit?
Oh, hell no. It's going to be way under.
Under.
Mother Nature's fucking us this year.
Under 32 degrees Fahrenheit is minus 120. Mr. C says it's a lock. I suggest you place your fucking bets tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be cold, guys.
Okay. Now, a man named... No, that's not a man. A woman named Renee Fleming is going to sing the official national anthem.
Who the hell is that?
I've never even heard of her. Renee Fleming?
Okay.
I got to Google her. Over under is 2 minutes and 25 seconds. What do you think?
I think they're about right with that.
Ooh, he thinks the line is set. All right, don't make a bet there. Will Renee Fleming wear gloves when she starts singing?
Fuck yeah, because if not, she'll have frostbite.
Guru pick by Mr. C once again.
You said I was a salesman, and we'll stick to that. But I spoke to a few people in New York today, and they weren't far away from our weather. So
That is true.
the North Pole is fucking with us. 2014 polar vortexes and fucking cold ass wind chills. I don't know. Yeah, Chicago's real cold with a slight chance of gunfire. So just be careful, guys.
That's a local giving us the weather report. It's very.
If you want to go to the South Side, be at your best behavior.
and
North Side's open though.
yeah, maybe visit a tanning bed as well if you're a gringo.
Nah, just go eat some tacos out there. It's fucking the bomb. I recommend one spot if anyone's ever visiting Chicago and they're a White Sox fan or their team's playing against the White Sox. Go to Nuevo Leon.
No, you're right. He is right about that. Nuevo Leon is a fantastic Mexican restaurant.
I'm a foodie. I'm a fatty. I'm a big time, and I cook too. Sorry, I had to throw that in the air.
Sure,
but I'm a big time food critic, and one of the best Mexican food places in the South Side.
Nuevo Leon.
Nuevo Leon.
By far.
Ashland and 18th Street. Go visit it.
Yep.
Great for the buck, and it's BYOB.
It is. It is BYOB. It's a phenomenal place. Make sure you get there before the dinner rush. Maybe bring some body armor. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. 18th Street is great, actually.
Yeah,
it's not that
pretty
bad
cool.
at all. Speak a little Spanglish, though. All right. Well, Mr. C, we thank you for taking time out of your day to drop some Chicago knowledge on us.
Anytime I can, brother.
And we appreciate your